I'm sick of feeling like there's something that we missed. We saved the world before I even felt your lips, but I like it when you speak so quietly like this. So I'm fine with waiting. Maybe one day you'll give in. These are lines from Gabriella B's freshly released single, Just Us, which was released today, inspired by Mike and Will's relationship from Stranger Things. Before we get into analyzing Byler and this song, I highly recommend you go check out my YouTube channel. On there, you'll find an interview that I did with Gabriella yesterday. I would recommend checking that out. But anyways, here are some of my thoughts on Just Us, and how specifically it ties back to, of course, Mike and Will's relationship. We start off with the lines, "You only look at me when I'm looking away, gave you a painting with dried teardrops on your face, you didn't notice you'd forgotten my birthday, but I'm just your friend, it shouldn't matter anyways." Or anyway, of course this verse is covering their conflicts within season 4, but I have to say, "You only look at me when I look away" is probably one of my favorite lines in this entire song, primarily due to the multiple meanings that you can derive from it and how it relates back to Mike and Will's relationship as a whole. Yes, it's true that there are plenty of scenes in which Mike is just staring at Will for seemingly no reason, so on a factual level, yeah, that does apply, but taking a deeper meaning from this theme still does apply to every other aspect of the relationship. Mike only looks at Will when Will is looking away. In times where it matters, in times where Will needs reassurance, he is not there, he is not present, he only shows up when it is too late, when the damage is already done to their relationship. When Will has finally given up, Mike has finally given in. He's made realizations about himself, but by now, the damage is done, it has already gone too far. Will has already convinced himself that he is the problem within their relationship, whereas Mike is not willing to admit the fact that he himself is the issue. So instead, the relationship is falling apart, and whenever Mike does have that realization, it is already too late, the damage is done, Will is already upset with him, Will is already mad, for a good reason. But that just means that due to Mike's naturally defensive nature, the problem will boil over and over again, only leading to their relationship worsening. As they grow older, they grow further out of sync, until eventually all they can do is look at each other from afar, not realizing that the other person is looking back. Gave you a painting with dried teardrops on your face, but shouldn't Mike have noticed? Shouldn't he have spoken up? But he can't. And he didn't. Not until Will is calmer, until he is sounder in himself, he won't offer that comfort. But by the time that it's offered, Will is already okay with himself. Will has already accepted that part of himself, and it is too late. In my opinion, that's a reflection of Mike's own fears and hesitations, which eventually leads to the downfall of their relationship. With the lines, "You didn't notice you'd forgotten my birthday, but I'm just your friend, it shouldn't matter anyways." Obviously, this is in reference to Birthdagate, to the fact that at the roller rink, it was Will's birthday on that day. I mean, shown in that little tape recording, the birthday in the corner was Will's birthday. They said, oh, it wasn't intentional, but like, given the entire theming of that part of the story, it would make sense for that to be intentional. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that it's not. But in this part, we're exploring one of Will's greatest flaws, and that is his own insecurities within his sexuality, and therefore he is blaming these problems on himself. Forgetting your childhood best friend's birthday is a dick thing to do no matter what. No matter what, that is a horrible thing to do. Even if, oh, I'm with my girlfriend, that is still a horrible thing to do, but that is not recognized. And Will doesn't take action about that. Will doesn't mention it. Will tries, but Mike immediately shuts it down. So after that, Will stays quiet. Will doesn't bring up the specifics behind it because I think part of him is assuming that Mike either knows or that Mike is going to realize, but he never does. At least not until it's too late. Will keeps forgiving because Mike's actions teach him that he shouldn't be expecting anything more, even though back in the day, in that time before, he could have expected more. In fact, he didn't even have to expect it, it was just given to him. But now, the longer the relationship grows on, the more conflicted Mike grows about himself, the worse the relationship grows, and therefore Will has to consistently keep lowering his expectations of Mike, therefore harming himself in the process to try and preserve this relationship that is clearly failing. Even more so, he doesn't feel as though he deserves anymore just by nature of his identity itself. We then go into the lines, "Cause I know you love her too, kinda wish it was me and you." What I like about these lines is that they can be interpreted in two different ways. It both is referencing, that jealousy that Will feels because of his romantic feelings, but also that friendship that they had that they are now losing. This is the primary source of Will's conflict. He is balancing the fact that yes, he misses Mike as a friend, he wants his best friend back, but also he feels this internalized guilt about his own romantic feelings for Mike. And that is sort of causing this conflict in his own mind where he is pushing down his own desires for friendship and his own expectations and standards that he's holding Mike to as a friend. He's pushing those down because he is feeling this internalized guilt about his romantic feelings for Mike. He's kind of equating those two things, when in reality, he can still want respect from his friend, just for the sake of them being best friends, but he's basically convincing himself that he doesn't deserve either of those things because of the fact that he has these romantic feelings towards Mike. And Mike keeps inadvertently leaning into that because he cannot treat Will with respect. Will wants it to be Mike and Will again, but he also wants it to be Mike and Will. And that conflict, that little problem in the center there, is the root of a lot of his problems that we see throughout the last 2 seasons of the series. Now, this is already a long video, so that was the first verse and pre-chorus of this song. I'm gonna be doing more analysis videos of the later parts of the song when we do the chorus, all of those sorts of things, so expect those to come out very soon. Once again, if you have not checked it out already, make sure you go watch me and Gabriella's interview. It's up on my YouTube channel. We talk for like 40 minutes about Byler and other things, and I personally think it's really funny. I would highly recommend you go check it out, and of course, stream Just Us. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Comment your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next one.